All right, so we are good to go. So welcome to the January 7th, 2021 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. We're going to start with a roll call by each member just to see who's here and who's not. So I'll start with Gillian.
Here.
Jeff. So Jeff is absent. Frank.
Here.
Joel. Joel is absent, and Jonathan is present as well. So the first item on the agenda is going to be consideration of Resolution 2020-272, a resolution declaring that the Board of Zoning Appeals members shall meet on January 7th, 2020, and conduct its essential business by electronic means rather than being required to gather a quorum of the members physically present in the same location because it is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion made by Frank. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Gillian. So
Mr. Chair,
yes.
just to make a correction on the agenda and the resolution, it should read 2021.
Okay. So I've got a motion, and you're good with that, Frank, 2021, and then Gillian. It's a motion and a second. So going through each member's vote, Gillian.
Aye.
Frank.
Aye.
And Jonathan, aye as well. So next item is going to be an announcement regarding limited public access. The Board of Zoning Appeals meeting will limit physical access in the meeting room due to current limitations on public gatherings to prevent further spread of COVID-19 and to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the City of Franklin officials, staff, and citizens. Accommodations have been made to ensure that the public is able to participate in the meeting. The public may participate in the following ways. Watch the meeting on Franklin TV or the City of Franklin website. Watch the live stream through the City of Franklin Facebook and YouTube account. The public may also call into the meeting by calling 1-312-626-6799 with a meeting ID of 988-3464-2277 with a password of 486411. So I'll repeat those one more time. The main number is going to be 1-312-626-6799. The meeting ID is 988-3464-2277 with a password of 486411. Callers will be unmuted and given the opportunity to comment during the meeting at specific times. Limited viewing will be available in the lobby of City Hall to watch the live video. And finally, the public may email comments to planningintake@franklintn.gov to be provided in full to the BZA and included in the minutes, but not read aloud in their entirety during the meeting. Comments were accepted until noon today. Next item on the agenda is going to be the approval of the 2021 meeting schedule. I'll ask staff if they have any comments on this item.
The 2021 meetings and deadline schedules establish the application submittal deadlines and BZA meeting dates for 2021. Thank you.
Any questions from board members at all on the calendar? Okay, do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second? So the motion was made by Gillian. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Frank. So going through each member, Gillian,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
and Jonathan, aye. So next item is going to be, we're going to first elect a chair for the 2021 year. And then, so we'll vote the chair first, and then we'll go to the vice chair. So do I have a motion to elect a chair for 2021?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate you, Jonathan Lundman, as chairman.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second?
I didn't hear that motion. Can you repeat it?
I move to nominate Jonathan Lundman as the chair.
Second.
Okay, so motion made by Frank to nominate me, Jonathan, as the chair, and a second by Gillian. So going through the votes, Gillian,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
and Jonathan, I as well. So I appreciate the confidence there, guys. So next we'll nominate a vice chair. Do I have a motion?
I nominate Gillian Parton as chairman.
Okay, so Frank has nominated Gillian, so we've got the motion there. And I will second that motion. So going through the votes, Gillian,
Thank you. Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
and Jonathan, I as well.
Thank you.
Great leadership.
So next item, we've got 2 months of minutes here. So it's going to be consideration of the approval of the October 1st, 2020, and also the November 5th, 2020 minutes. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, are we approving both or one at a time?
We're approving both through this motion that's before us now if there's no corrections that are needed.
I move to approve.
Okay, so Frank moves to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Gillian. Going through the votes one by one. Gillian,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
and Jonathan, I as well. So I'll ask at this point, are there any citizen comments? I'll give staff a minute here to make sure we don't have any.
There are none.
Okay, so no comments. Do I have a motion to close the public comment?
Move to close the public comment.
Motion made by Gillian. Do I have a second?
I second.
Frank with a second. Going through the votes one by one. Gillian,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
and Jonathan, I as well. So now we're to our main item, I guess, of the agenda. So it's a variance request to extend an appurtenance beyond the maximum permitted encroachment by 10 feet in the rear yard of the property located at 104 Sutter Way. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property was originally platted in 2002 as part of the Cool Springs East subdivision and is currently zoned Residential 2 District R2. The property is located on a cul-de-sac, which results in a triangular lot shape with a narrow front and a curved front yard setback. The rear property line coincides with the rear wall of the house, and an existing deck encroaches 6 feet beyond the permitted encroachment into the rear yard setback. Due to the location of the property line, any additions to the rear of the dwelling would encroach into the rear yard setback. A change in topography occurs in the rear yard from the front to the rear of the parcel. The property backs up to a deeded open space managed by the subdivision HOA with Baker's Bridge Road behind the open space. The HOA previously authorized the placement of the applicant's fencing within this open space area. The purpose of the variance request is to replace and extend the existing deck by 4 feet and add a screened porch to a portion of the deck area. The encroachment of the existing deck does not conform to the standards of the current zoning ordinance. Per the zoning ordinance, decks are considered appurtenances and are permitted to encroach 6 feet into the rear yard setback. The variance request is to extend an appurtenance beyond the maximum permitted encroachment by 10 feet in the rear yard of the property located at 104 Sutter Way. The subject property is triangular in shape, and the lot's location on the cul-de-sac results in a property line that aligns with the rear wall of the home. These conditions result in a lot with a narrow front and a wide but shallow rear lot line. Staff concluded that the shape of the property and lot constraints create an extraordinary and exceptional condition on the property that does not permit development under the ordinance. Due to these reasons, staff finds that the property meets the first criterion for a variance. The rear of the existing dwelling is the only possible location for a deck and screened porch, and the proposed location would have the least impact on surrounding neighbors. Due to the shape of the lot, there is no buildable area that would not result in an encroachment into the rear yard setback to some extent. The strict application of the zoning ordinance would require conformance with the platted setback and would only permit the new deck and screen porch to encroach 6 feet into the setback. The BZA must determine whether the inability to replace and expand a deck and screened porch beyond 6 feet in length is a hardship or practical difficulty. If granted a variance, staff recommends the BZA impose the condition that no portion of the deck or screened porch may be later enclosed to create additional indoor living space. The lot is exceptional in nature, and the location of the fencing within the HOA open space further emphasizes the lot's irregularity. The conditions on the lot, the approval of similar past requests, and the fact that the lot backs up to open space all support the rationale that the request would not result in detriment to the public good. The intent of rear yard setbacks is to maintain a degree of open space in rear yards. Staff finds that the replacement and extension of the existing deck and porch as proposed by the applicant would not impair the intent and purpose of the zoning ordinance. Due to these reasons, the third criterion is satisfied. Based on this reasoning, staff recommends approval with the condition of the variance based on the criteria that authorize the variance to be established, with the condition being that no portion of the deck or screen porch may be later enclosed to create additional indoor living space. Thank you.
Thank you, staff. Next, we'll move to the applicant. So if you'd like to speak on the project, now is your
Sure.
turn, sir.
Yep, sure. My name's David Romagna, and I'm with LMS Homes. I'm a general contractor, and I'm here representing Joe and Christy Wolf. The current deck is in severe disrepair, and that was the reason why the Wolves had reached out to me. I had done work for them quite often in the past, and the deck is currently, from a building perspective, not conforming with the existing codes, and it's a danger because it's been up for 20 years. So we are looking to tear the deck off and come up to codes on the actual construction of the deck. And of course, they request that we add the screened porch. As Kelly had mentioned, the rear yard is common area that abuts directly to Baker's Bridge Road. So there's no really homeowners behind that's going to have any type of adverse effect as far as the actual addition goes. We sent the letters out in a timely manner to all the property owners that were provided by the city of Franklin. To my knowledge, there was no objection to the request to do the construction of the property. As far as the condition of not enclosing the screened porch at any time in the future, that wasn't the intent of the property owners at all. They just wanted a screened area to enjoy the view, obviously, of the Cool Springs area. So everything that was mentioned is exactly what we're looking for. And they do have a letter from the HOA granting permission for them to put their fence on the HOA property already. So as far as the HOA standpoint, I don't think you're going to get any objection at all from them. And I think that's all I had to add.
Okay,
Everything was
thank you.
very well spoken from Kelly, so.
All right, so next we will open the public comment. Are there any citizen comments at all? Again, I'll
Yeah.
pause for staff to, sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
There are none.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion to close the public comment?
Motion to close.
I have a motion made by Frank. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Gillian. So going through the vote for each member, Gillian,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
and Jonathan, I. So now we're down to a motion on this item. I'll also mention, so board members, if you're looking at your packet, there's a condition of approval. So if you look back at page 3 in the staff report, there's a condition added there that staff recommends. So let's just make sure we make that motion and you're in agreement that we include that in the main motion.
I'm ready to make a motion, Jonathan, if you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Gillian.
Move to approve the variance request to extend an appurtenance beyond the maximum permitted encroachment by 10 feet in the rear yard of the property located at 104 Sutter's Way, because the criteria for granting a variance have been satisfied as described in the staff report, with the stipulation that no portion of the deck or screen porch may be later enclosed to create additional indoor living space.
Thank you, Gillian. So Gillian with a motion, do I have a second?
A second.
I have a second by Frank. So going through the votes, Gillian,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
and Jonathan, I as well. So that item is approved, and I believe staff will reach out to you. How are you guys handling that now on the approvals? You reach out to the applicant? Just kind of giving them next steps.
Yes. With the applicant to answer any questions.
I would assume with the approval, I would just take the approval. And I was, how this whole thing came up is when I was submitting for building permit application, we had noticed the issue with the rear setback. So I would assume with the approval, I submit that approval with the building permit application, correct?
I will contact you
Okay,
tomorrow with that information and we can
Okay.
get that answered.
fantastic.
All right, so that's our last item on the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
A motion made by Frank to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gillian. So going through the votes, Gillian,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
and Jonathan, I as well. So that concludes the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for January 2nd. Appreciate everybody's time and hope everybody has a good January. See you
Thank you
hopefully in
very much.
February.
I appreciate everybody.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
And Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you, Frank.